Imagine a world transformed by the power of giving, where every act of kindness sparks another. These are the champions who dedicate their lives to change. Together, they are paying it forward. Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement. Here on the Achievement Channel.
Welcome to Champions of Change on the Achievement Channel, the show that brings you face to face with remarkable individuals whose journeys inspire and empower us all. We're reaching you from our studios at the School of Eloquence here in Lagos. I'm Pamela Egbo, and today we're diving deep into the world of the maritime media, a field that often goes unnoticed but plays a very crucial role in our global economy. Our guest today is Sylvanus Obasi, a true trailblazer in this field. He's a seasoned journalist, a passionate advocate for maritime development, and a champion for youth empowerment. He's the founder of Maritime Platform Reporters, online newspaper, and a host of other impactful initiatives. Let's get started.
Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement. Here on the Achievement Channel.
Hello, Mr. Sylvanus. Thank you for coming to Champions of Change. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure being at Achievement Television.
Great. So I've been looking at your resume. You have quite a diverse career, which is very interesting. So you were in the health sector, sales sector, education sector, and then you sort of pivoted into the maritime sector. So tell us a little bit about that, your journey into the maritime sector, and what piqued your interest to go into that industry.
All right, thank you. My journey into the maritime sector. Before then, I appreciate the fact that you acknowledge my previous background before coming into maritime, because it has or they have a lot to play, or a lot of roles to play in what my maritime experience eventually turned out to be. Those ones I did before I became a graduate. But I learned a lot when I worked in a hospital as a cashier. That was 3 years after secondary school, before I gained admission in the university. I've also worked with African Alliance Insurance PLC at Ilukbeju when I came into Lagos to do my 1-year industrial training experience. Then my HND after my ND was part-time. So that gave me opportunity of doing a teaching job while schooling. And so then after that, when I graduated, and then in 2012, I came into this maritime sector. And my entry into the maritime sector wasn't actually what I envisaged. I didn't plan for it. It was one of my lecturers in school that told me there's this a job opportunity that has to do with being a reporter, one of the maritime media establishments. So I got on board. I resumed on 4th of June 2012 at Keynes Communications Limited, the publishers of MMS newspaper. So I came into the sector basically to report the maritime sector, and that's why the transition wasn't that difficult because already I've been trained as a journalist.
Right.
So coming in to know about maritime, and then I started reporting, going for events, knowing the industry, writing articles, and I did that before I later on started my own brand. Yeah, that's how the journey began. So I would say what sparked my interest in the industry when I came is actually the opportunities in the sector. As a young reporter then, I was reporting, and I was also very observant. observant in the sense that when we come to the seminars, conferences, or whatever events, issues are being discussed. I wasn't just there to listen to the issues and report the issues as they are saying it, but to also look at, okay, what roles can I play? What impact can I make? What can I do to play my own role or contribute my quota in solving some of the issues being raised? That's actually how some of the initiative I bettered came about. So the industry is one full of opportunities, and if one comes in as a journalist or as an entrepreneur, you will definitely see something that will spark your interest.
Right.
And you run with it.
Fantastic. So we'll talk more about that in a second, but I know, like you said, following on from what you said, you started your own platforms, media platform and platform reporters, as your media outlets. What were some of the challenges you faced to start those, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Thank you. The media platforms I started, the Maritime platform, which is a 30 minutes radio program, and the platform reporters, which is an online newspaper. The flagship program is the Maritime platform, and I started that exactly on 25th of May 2014.
Okay.
So before then, I did a stint with a fellow colleague in the industry who is already into radio program in the maritime sector. We were doing it together. It's called Port Business. It was more of it was a 15 minutes program, news and interview. So when I joined him, it was his initiative. When I joined him, we made it a 30 minutes program. So after a while, he asked me to leave the brand for him, and I was shocked. I was surprised. It was after one of our editions at Radio Nigeria then, at Faji Way, Ikeja. So I was confused, but knowing fully well that it's his brand, I came in to join him to see what we can do together, and there's nothing to drag. I said, okay, I walked away. There and then I was like, okay, let me go and meet the marketing department of the station to maybe register a program of my own. I came there. They already know me. They said, okay, what name? I said, I don't even have a name. They say, how many minutes? I said, I'm looking at 30 minutes. They said, okay, let's say Maritime half hour. I paid the first payment, Maritime half hour. And as I was going home that day, I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, if it is 30 minutes, half hour, if we want to raise it to 1 hour, that means we'll start having to change the name. Let me just get a name that we don't have to do with the minutes of the program. And that's how the idea Maritime platform came. I just called them. I said, please, let's change the program name to Maritime platform.
Right.
I haven't done the first edition, just that, okay, this program will come on air so time, and that's how it started. The main challenge then was, there were basically two challenges, because this is a young man that came into an industry he knew nothing about. I wasn't coming like an investor that have all the money
Right.
to pull into the sector. I came as a young graduate, and with little experience in the industry, I saw myself in a position I've already resigned my place of work before joining that guy. Now he's asking me out. So I have an option of either staying on my own or going back to where I was coming from. So when I took that decision, the challenge was, how do I get the program going? Because it was a paid program.
Right.
Paid for the 30 minutes. My duty now is to continue paying for you to be able to continue being on air. And radio is either you are recording or you are doing live. To do recording is more expensive than to be live.
Right.
So that informed my decision. I want to do live, and the one I was doing with the guy was actually live. And so whatever news we gather, it was into two segments. The segment that has to do with the news and the segment that has to do with the interview. So the challenge was fund. But how did I overcome it? First is I have to reach out to the stakeholders. Yes, reaching out to stakeholders is going out to do the marketing, planning to produce the program, planning to present the program because as at that time, there was no fund to say you are employing somebody. Yes. And so, but you know, the industry being what it is, and the fact that I came with that energy, there was that zeal to do something, and the stakeholders are also ready to feature on the program. So I capitalize on be our guest, you know, give us some payment to support what we're doing, and then we air your view. So that's how we started surviving. Secondly was reaching out to agencies for advert, and then eventually for sponsorship. And so the different customs command in Lagos, we went through them to start seeking for advert. The different government agencies like the MASA, MPA, Shippers Council, because maritime platform is restricted. It's airing on a national radio station, but it's not everybody that can advertise on it. We are talking mainly maritime. We are discussing maritime. So you cannot go to a cosmetic company and say, come and advertise.
Sure.
You cannot go to somebody that is into other sectors and say, come and advertise. Your advert has to come from maritime. And I have to make the program very popular within the maritime sector. So people will know about it and want to feature in it and want to advertise. We did that for 2 years, surviving through advert, guest appearances, news programs, event coverage, and then the breakthrough came in 2016 when we got sponsorship from Nigerian Shippers Council. You know, from there NPA came on board, and then on. So that's how we broke even. But I truly and really, it wasn't easy.
I
But
can
the passion,
imagine.
the determination, and the resilience that I got from being a salesperson in an insurance company is actually what sustained me. Because when you are in insurance, they train you so much to be a marketer, aggressive one. And I joined insurance not like a staff, but an agent.
Right.
So we traverse the whole of Lagos, Alaba International Market, trade fair, looking for prospects to come and buy life insurance. And with the training, I learned what is prospecting. I learned the concept of follow-up.
Right.
So some of those concepts are not what some of our media person know much about. We are more interested in that news. But when I write letter, I make plan to follow. So with time, we start yielding results.
Amazing.
And being a professional sector, you cannot go to the master and say, give me money. They cannot put hand in the drawer and give you. You have to write. It has to take time. You have to follow up. In fact, if you don't follow up, you may lose the letter. And so, but some of our colleagues don't know those processes. They only know about, okay, the master, you want to give the association advert. Every member submit your name.
Right.
But on individual basis, you can go out on your own, meet in the master, meet MPA, meet Shippers Council, meet stakeholders and say, I'm doing this, you come on board and support or sponsor it. It wasn't part of the training, but these are things that some of us came in from nothing and
learned along the way.
To learn along the way.
Amazing. That's fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about your other initiatives. So I know that you're big on empowering young people, and you have created initiatives, 3 in particular that I know of: AMSA, FOMI, Girls Go-To-Sea. I love that name, Girls Go-To-Sea. These are some of the initiatives that you have created through your work in Maritime. Can you tell us briefly about it, and what were the gaps in the maritime sector that you saw that propelled you to create these initiatives?
Okay. Thank you for that question. You know, the 3 brands you mentioned are unique brands, not just in maritime in Nigeria, but I can tell you in maritime in Africa, in maritime in any part of the world.
Okay.
Because How did the AMSE came about? AMSE is Annual Maritime Students and Youth Conference. We changed to that name, or we call it that name too, but the name we started that brand with is A Day with Nigerian Maritime Students. The idea is in 2014, when I was mainly on the radio program. I attended a student event at one of the maritime schools, organized by their SUG. And they had some maritime persons as a resource person who was talking to them. Mine was just to sit down, listen, get issues of the conversation and report. But while the conversation was going on, I could see amongst those students, it was just a particular school, not the entire school, the yearning to interact more with maritime practitioners.
Right.
They are in the school, they are students, they are cadets, they have a lot of unanswered questions. They have a lot of things bothering them that they want the authorities to respond to and to clear their minds on. And that particular man, he was an executive director in the master then. They were bombarding him with questions. So I now felt, okay, how about creating a platform that brings the students and the practitioners together? That's how the idea, A Day with Nigerian Maritime Students, came about, which we later renamed Annual Maritime Students and Youth Conference. So the idea is to, being a day with Nigerian maritime students, you have different categories of maritime students. Some are into maritime law, some are seafarer students, some are studying the admin aspects like shipping management, port administration, and co. So we bring all of them together from different maritime schools in Nigeria. Then we also bring the stakeholders together. It was more or less a day with maritime students. Let's sit down with them. The concept I proposed and I brought out was a succession plan. Because over time, the industry have also been talking about the older seafarers and the older practitioners getting old, and there are no young ones experienced enough to replace them. So the idea is, okay, let's have this as a succession plan. Let's bring the students together with the practitioners. The freight forwarders will be here. The students that are studying freight forwarding will be here. The maritime law students will be here. The maritime lawyers will be here. The marine engineers, the naval architectures, the nautical science, the captains will be here. The cadets will be here. Let them talk to them and let them interact with them. That's how that's what it was meant to be, and that's the purpose it's serving. A platform that advocates for issues affecting students.
Right.
A platform that serves a succession plan purpose, which is more of mentoring. Because when they come, there is paper presentation, there is always a panel discussion, there is question and answer section. There are other things we also brought into it to make it a veritable platform. So as I speak, the AMSE conference is the only platform that converge both the maritime students from various maritime schools in Nigeria and the practitioners in the sector. And
fantastic.
Each year, students look forward to it.
We'll take a quick break right now and we'll come back and continue this really inspiring conversation with Mr. Sylvanus.
Do you feel terrified when speaking before a group? Are you stressed when asked to present? Do you forget your points? Are you shy and need confidence? How do you give a speech with polish? Learn how at the School of Eloquence,
the home of public speaking. Attend our 2-day practical training in public speaking. Call 0802 303 2066 or log on to schoolofeloquence.org.
School of Eloquence, teaching the world to speak.
Welcome back to Champions of Change. Just before the break, we were talking to Mr. Sylvanus about his experiences in the maritime sector. So, Mr. Sylvanus, I'm very interested in hearing more about your initiatives. Just before the break, we talked about your initiatives, FOMI, AMSE, and Girls Go-To-Sea. So could you talk a little bit about FOMI, what does it do, and Girls Go-To-Sea? Particularly, I know that you are an advocate for women, and you are working actively to get more women in a male-dominated industry. So just let you tell us a little bit about those two initiatives.
Okay, thank you. The two initiatives, first, the Face of Maritime International is the FOMI, is actually a beauty pageant in the maritime sector.
Nice.
It's a maritime industry beauty pageant, and the idea is to use it to attract young ladies
Okay.
into the maritime sector. Then the Girls Go-To-Sea campaign is a pet project of whoever wins Face of Maritime International.
Okay.
You know, as a beauty queen, you have to do what we call pet projects during your 1 year reign.
Okay.
So we at FOMI already earmarked Girls Go-To-Sea as the primary pet project that whoever wins each year will undertake. Because that's the purpose of forming FOMI in the first place.
Right.
So Girls Go-To-Sea is basically a catch them young project designed to sensitize, attract, and encourage secondary school girls to consider taking career path in the maritime sector. So that's what it's all about. It's about visiting these girls' secondary schools across the country with the face of maritime queen and other maritime resource persons, talk to them about career opportunities in the maritime and the need for them to check that decision on their own.
And how has the uptake been? Has it been very good?
Been very interesting. We started in 2016, the maiden edition of Face the Maritime International, and I think this year will be marking 10th anniversary. And we have over 7 young ladies who, by just being part of the Face of Maritime, the beauty pageant, which basically has to do with 1 week camping, that little exposure into maritime, they pick interest.
Right.
That they want to go into maritime. We have some of them. We have, for instance, in 2016, 2017, a young lady by name Precious, who wanted to study law, criminal law according to her, but after being part of the pageant, she picked interest in maritime and she got scholarship.
Amazing.
She studied maritime transport and business management. We have Happiness also, who participated in 2019 edition of the pageant, and she picked interest to go and study nautical science, which is becoming a captain. We also have Temitokbe. She was already in the university, and then she picked interest. After her university, she went and do mandatory courses in maritime. Now she's working as an able seaman in one of the vessels in the country. They also have Grace Omede, who is working currently as a marine engineer. So this happened within 2016 to now. There are more than that. There are more of them, but I just mentioned these ones to tell you that, when you attract, the psychology of the young girls is wired for entertainment.
Right.
That's the truth some of us don't know. And when we started Face of Maritime, the industry people were like, what concern maritime?
Right.
And beauty pageants. But it is playing on their intelligence. You attract them first with that entertainment they want to hear. Then in the course of doing that entertainment, you now sell maritime to them. And you'll be surprised that some of those models will look alike. They have that mind of adventure.
Right.
They want to do those things that are hard to be done by women. They pick interest and they're into maritime. So the success story, when we started recording it, those people that at initial time were like, what is this all about? They now saw the beauty of it, especially when we introduced that Girls Go-To-Sea, going to secondary school, reaching out to them, and is interesting.
Very, very. And what I love about this story as well is to know that there's so many different facets within maritime.
Sure.
There's so many different areas people can go into.
Sure.
And to see that you're doing such wonderful work, getting women to know more about it and actually go into those different areas is very, very interesting, and well done for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I wanted to ask you, you've given us a few success stories, but I'm sure you have a lot more up your sleeve. Through your work, just give us a couple more impactful stories that you have seen through your work in the maritime and how that has, shaped what you do. Some of the impactful stories that have come from the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. This is like giving me opportunity to blow a trumpet.
Blow away.
Yeah, it's a champions
Champions of change, of
Champions of
course.
change. Thank you. You see, the success stories are many, but let me start with Adebimpe Oluwa Damilola. She is she's a graduate of maritime studies. In fact, she's a beneficiary of one of the NEMASA scholarship schemes called National Seafarers Development Scheme. She graduated in 2015, first class in Egypt. Those ones were sent abroad to study maritime related courses. When she came back, she couldn't find job. With first class in marine engineering.
Wow.
From I think she went to Egypt. She was roaming around the street looking for job, and at a point she was fed up. And one thing about maritime is that is highly professional. If you don't know anything about it, you come in, it will be like, how do I even start? So she had been sent to school, studied freely, came back, now to work. She's not getting the jobs. She started doing many things, even to the extent of selling granite.
Wow.
To sustain herself and the family. So one day I got a call from her that she learned I am doing annual maritime students conference, that I help students to get opportunities. That's how she was saying it. So what can I do for her? I say, okay. Fortunately for her, we are planning the AMSE conference that year. I told her, okay, since you're a graduate, you are a first class, I would like you to make a presentation at this event. Use the opportunity of that presentation to talk about your experience graduating from school and looking for job. Because we also have that challenge of job, just like in every other sector of Nigeria. And she picked it up, came that day and made the presentation. And after the presentation, the stakeholders that were there, hearing her story, what she didn't do was to cry. But she actually made it so pitiable. And her story was actually the story of a lot of other...
Passionate, I'm sure.
Yes.
Rather than pitiable.
And after then, the one of the maritime women called her, and one of the maritime groups, female groups, invited her, and she met with them. They asked her to submit her CV. She did, and they forwarded it to MPA. And then Hadiza Bala Usman was the MD. Being a woman, she's working at MPA now.
Fantastic. That's such a great story.
When she wrote her testimonial and sent to us and we published it, people felt, wow, if she hadn't reached out, if she hadn't been given the opportunity to speak at that AMSE conference, maybe the women in maritime Nigeria that saw her, they wouldn't have seen her. That's one of our success story. We also have one Adekola Adeshokin, the similar situation.
Okay.
We have Ades Obodozie. That one is a face of maritime win that we went for a courtesy visit, and the port manager and MPA offered her scholarship for further study. So she already dropped out of school due to the mother, the father, they separated, things weren't going well. But when she became a beauty queen, on a courtesy visit, like play, what would you like to be? I want to study maritime course. Okay, we'll give you scholarship. We will pay the school fees, but the books take care of it. She went and enrolled in one of the federal maritime schools, and today she's a graduate and she's working in one of the freight forwarding firms.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for just the great work that you do, especially in advocating for women in a male-dominated industry. Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted you to talk a little bit, give some advice to journalists like yourself or people looking to enter into the maritime industry. What would you say to them, and what are some of the skills that you think are essential for them to acquire to be able to be successful in the maritime sector?
All right, let me start with my colleagues, the journalists. If you're interested, if you are sent here to report maritime, because as a journalist, you can be sent to any beat. So if you are sent to report maritime and you came in, I would like you to come with an open mind. And when I mean open mind, see and think beyond reporting. If you come with an open mind while you are doing your work as a reporter, you may see opportunity of other things you could do that could even benefit you more than the reporting you are doing. That's for my colleagues. Then for entrepreneurs and maybe individuals that want to come into maritime, there is a lot of opportunities in the maritime sector. But I would like them to come with, creative mindset. Don't come and do what many people are already doing. You don't have the connections already. You don't have the contacts. You don't have the experience. You may not excel as much as they are doing. Come with the mindset to create something that many people are not already doing. You will definitely excel. Then be innovative. Take, for example, Grid Rock was actually a challenge for Apapa. It's a company that came in and introduced a technology that could bring up what we call call-up system. And that company is doing great now because they solved an actual problem that has been there for years.
Right.
So instead of trust coming all the way, we can actually develop an application that everybody, before you come into the port, you must have a cargo to lift. Then we call you in, you come and pick it, you go.
So everybody has like a time that they come.
So you don't just come and park on the road and everywhere is blocked. So if you are an investor and you are looking at solutions, where you can come in and play roles, there are many of them. Talk to people like us, talk to other people that know the industry. They will tell you where you will come and you will smile.
That's fantastic. Great. So finally, I wanted to ask you, looking at the year ahead, what are your hopes and aspirations for your platform, and what would you like to see? What are some of the things that you would like to see in the maritime sector? How can the maritime sector contribute more and more to the growth of Nigeria as an economy?
It's all right. Talking about my platforms and my initiatives, my vision and my dream is to, see us achieve greater impact. Platforms Communications, which is the mother company for the initiatives, Maritime Platform Reporters. We are hoping that someday there will be a platform radio. We're looking forward to having a platform television, and we are also looking forward to replicating some of our initiatives in other African countries. Because for the past 10 years we started this, we have seen that, it's making impact. AMSE conference can be replicated in Ghana, and they will be happy about it because it will give hope for the young students. Face of Maritime International can be replicated in other African country, and they will see that, you can give these beautiful young ladies a purpose, give their beauty a meaning by using them to champion Girls Go-To-Sea. That's what we are looking at. Then generally in the industry, we look forward to seeing, which is already happening, a time where there will be more awareness for women to come into the sector. We are looking forward to seeing men losing up their position to accommodate and appreciate women. Because initially, this is part of the challenges we faced. The male saw it as their domain. So if a woman is coming in, they will be looking at it as which one, But with the awareness going on, with the gender inclusivity message we have been driving and other women groups in the sector are driving, the men are beginning to loosen up to see that even on board a vessel, inside working in a vessel, that yes, women can do it and they can also do it well. Then we're also expecting the industry to address the issue relating to cabotage vessel financing fund. It is actually a concept or a policy that is meant to make money available to ship owners to be able to acquire ships in order to employ more people.
Right.
Because the challenge we have now is that one of the days we went for Girls Go-To-Sea, one lady said, what if a lot of women now come inside? What will happen? And the more awareness we create, the more people come into the industry should have the capacity to sustain them, to
Right.
absorb them.
Right.
And for us to have that capacity, the ship owners must have a means to acquire ocean-going vessels.
Right.
If the CVFF is not disbursed, we'll be playing around.
Right.
We will not make a real impact. So please, I plead on government. The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy has been created last year or last 2 years. I'm very happy for it. We want him to face it head on and ensure the disbursement. Because when there is job, a lot of things follows.
Thank you very, very much. I've really enjoyed this conversation, learned a lot. Thank you for all the hard work that you do to really get gender inclusivity in the maritime sector. It's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you, champions of change.
I'd like to thank Mr. Obasi for sharing his incredible journey and insights with us. His passion for maritime and his commitment to youth empowerment is truly inspirational. To our viewers, we hope we've motivated you today to explore the vast opportunities within the maritime industry and to make your own mark just like Mr. Obasi has done. I'm Pamela Egbo. Till next time, bye for now.